Welcome to Brett Ridgway's Learning for Life. This is lesson 4, part 4 of starting a tune from scratch. And I noticed going back through the videos that when I was teaching the chords above the 7th fret, that the views were much, much higher because of the interest of that. And I think part of the problem is that so many people may be, and I'm just assuming, but they're missing the point of, let's say, when we did the hammer-ons and the slides, and they're looking at it, this is how you do a hammer-on and a slide. If you've taken my lessons for any length of time, you know how to do hammer-ons and slides. You already know that. And I think people see that and it's like, I already know how to do that. That is not the point of these lessons. That's not the point of that particular lesson. If you're playing tablature and you see a hammer-on and a slide, you know to do that. You know how to do that. If I'm teaching you a tune and I say, okay, you're going to do a hammer-on here, you know how to do that. Here's the question. Can you take a tune, the basic melody, do you know how, and can you add slides and hammer-ons to make the tune more interesting? Do you understand where they would go and how to incorporate them? That is the purpose of this little series we're doing of starting a tune from scratch. So whether you can do a hammer-on or not, if you cannot take a basic melody and add these hammer-ons and know where they go without being told, then I'm going to ask you to review those previous lessons, because that's really the purpose of these lessons. So we are going to continue this for a few more weeks at least, possibly through October. And then I think what we might do is start all over again with a new tune, something that's more popular than Boy Them Cabbages, something that has a bigger range than Boy Them Cabbages. Boy Them Cabbages is a great teaching tune, and it's really highly underrated, but it's also not the most popular tune. So we'll reteach a tune, starting from scratch, a new tune, and then we'll show you how to put these same things in again. So I hope that's encouraging. We've had a lot of good comments on this, but I really I hope people will understand the purpose of this is how to do this yourself without being told or seeing it on a piece of paper somewhere. And that's what I want you to work on. What I'm showing you might take me 10 minutes to show you. It could take you hours to feel comfortable with it. Not to figure it out, but to feel comfortable with it and to put it in other tunes where you don't normally do it. So with that in mind, I do hope you're enjoying these lessons. I hope they're a help and a blessing to you. Again, I couldn't do these lessons without the patrons. If you're watching these lessons, if you're consuming these lessons, if you're learning from these lessons, somebody has invested willingly, giving of whatever they want to give, so that you can have that opportunity and that privilege to do that. I used to charge for these lessons, and I decided to try a different route, but to do that different route, to make it free, to make it available, then it does help to have people invest in their own learning process and in turn invest in this program so that we can keep putting these lessons out every single week and give you a new lesson to work on. So the patrons are the core, they're the foundation of what this program is all about. I want to thank them first and foremost. And if you're taking these lessons, that you would consider helping and supporting this program. So with that said, we're going to do another left-hand technique, and then next week we'll move on to something different. And in this case, I will teach you how to do it, because of all the left-hand techniques, this is probably one of the ones people struggle with the most, and that would be a pull-off. And the reason they struggle with it so much is sometimes if their action's too high, they have problems doing it. But another reason is instead of doing a pull-off, they're doing a lift-off. And they're trying to lift their finger off and get a sound. Now, actually, I can on this. It's not loud, but if I'm picking, most dulcimers, or many dulcimers, you don't have that response. So the proper way, first, put your middle finger down on the bass string, push down. You don't have to push hard, just hard enough that it's down, and then pull your finger towards you until the string snaps out from under your finger. If you're doing a double pull off, I'm going to put my ring finger on 1, my pointer finger on 2. You leave the back finger down, press down, pull towards you, and then pull off the bottom. Where this would come in, instead of playing which is your basic melody, you could do this, which is a double pull off. Actually, yeah, pull off and then hammer on. So anytime, a slide, a hammer-on goes from a lower note to a higher note. A slide can go from a lower note to a higher note, or from a higher note to a lower note. And again, on many instruments, sliding back, you don't hear it as loud. And really on all instruments, it's not, for an extended slide backwards, it's not as loud. So if you're going from a higher note to a lower note, you could do a slide, or you could do a pull-off. So let's do a pull-off just from 2 to open a higher note to a lower note, which we've done. Let's go from 4 to 2. You're going to keep both down. Make sure you keep this back finger down. And what you're doing is you're pushing down, pulling towards you until it snaps off. If you did a double pull-off, keep the back finger down, the ring finger, and then pull the ring finger towards you. And it doesn't mean you want to do pull-offs every single time. So let's apply it to Boil Them Cabbages Down. And to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of places you can put it in the tune, but I wanted to cover it. So we have talked about playing on the bass. We talked about on the melody. We talked about playing it above the 7th fret. We talked about using chords. We've talked about using inverted chords. We've talked about hammering on. And sliding. So I kind of messed up there. We talked about using hammer-ons, playing backup. So we're going to do the same thing with pull-offs. We're going from a lower note to a higher note. Now we're going to go from 3 to 2, a higher note to a lower note. Now in this case, we're going to go from 2 to 1. I'm not really prepared with my fingering to do that. You could. That's not really comfortable. I would probably slide down. Hammer on. But here's the thing, pull off. You could do that. So here I did the chords. And I did a pull off. There I pulled off with my ring finger on the middle string. do several pull-offs, you could do this. So that's my point of this. I just played that through, 4 or 5 different times, 4 or 5 different ways, because I'm mixing it up. And that's the goal. So what you want to do in this lesson, it's not a long lesson. What you want to do in this lesson is put in as many pull-offs in as many different ways as you can. You might want to write them down. So what we did is we did it on just the melody. We also did it on the chords. Sorry. Or if you're just playing back up. And then you want to, after you do that, that could take you quite a while right there just to figure out how many places you can do these pull-offs. The other thing you could do is then put it together with the slides and hammer-ons. See how intricate, how interesting you can get this. Sorry. And again, as I'm sitting here thinking, it's not as smooth because I'm actually thinking and trying, which is what you're going to be doing. It's not going to be completely smooth. The idea is you want to get very, very comfortable understanding how to do a hammer-on, when to do a hammer-on, where a hammer-on's appropriate, where to do a slide, how to do a slide, where a slide is appropriate, and now how to do a pull-off, where to do a pull-off, and where a pull-off is appropriate. And you want to be able to mix that up. So if you've not done this with the hammer-ons and the slides, I would go back and watch that video, but I would spend some time. Again, so many people don't want to learn their instrument. They just want to learn how to play a song. They want to learn how to play a tune. And what happens is you just play something memorized, and if you play it over and over, you're just doing the same thing. And this is going to allow you to embellish on your own, to have so much more fun, and to open up a horizon of embellishment ideas. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope it's a blessing to you, and we will see you next week for your next lesson. God bless. Bye.